understand who the fuck I am on this US land. I let my hair grow, then I cut it off. Put a couple lines in it, cause you know I'm never coming soft. I do a lot of shows and I get a lot of stares. I got a lot of haters, but really who cares?
Bam, here we go. Mitch, please, we are back. Episode 2. I told you I'd be back. You can't get rid of me. Oh man, so excited to be back live on a microphone and speaking with you folks. Whoever's listening, I appreciate it very much. Whether you're listening on SoundCloud or here on youtube.com/TheMitchValentine. Thank you very much. And yeah, let's get right to it, guys. I mean, I put out a video message explaining what had happened. I don't really want to elaborate any further. I'm going to continue to bring you the best possible audio show that I can. Like I said, this is something I'm real passionate about, and I'm real passionate about my guest because it's my mom. It was, we got together on Mother's Day. We had brunch. As you're hearing this, hopefully it is Mother's Day, but it might not be, depending on how things go. I can't control it. I can only do the best I can do. I want to bring this to you guys every week. That's my goal, and I'm not going to stop until I am doing that and doing it very well. So, my guest is my mom. She is a incredible singer, has been doing so since she was 16 years old. She's been in a handful of bands, performed in front of 10,000 people in Marysville at the amphitheater. We talk about that. We talk about what the House Cats, her and Bill Teague, are doing currently. They're basically doing, it's a 2-person band. It's her and a piano with a drum machine. It's incredible, and they're in Paradise every Wednesday, the Italian Garden, and every Saturday at Smokey Mountain, easy for me to say, Smokey Mountain Steakhouse in Paradise, doing it twice a week, performing also for rest homes, which is just a very charitable, nice, incredible thing to do. That's just how my mom is, and her name is Robyn Valentine. And I want to go ahead and just let's get this ball moving. Let's get the show on the road. Let's cut over to the interview with myself and my mom. All right, episode 2 of Mitch, Please. Here we are. It is Mother's Day as we record this, and it's only fitting that I interview my mother. She is the former lead singer of Wildcard, the band Wildcard. She's the current lead singer of the band The House Cats, and of course, the best mom I could ever ask for, Robyn Valentine. Welcome to Mitch, Please.
Thank you, sweetheart. It's nice to be here.
This is awesome because we actually haven't got to really spend a Mother's Day together in a while. Last year I was in Pennsylvania, and then we were working a lot, or you were in LA and I was up here in Northern California. So it was really nice to actually go out to the place where you perform every Saturday night, Smokey Mountain Steakhouse, and just sit there and have brunch with you. It was great, Mom.
It was delicious, son. Thank you so much. It's a milestone every mother looks forward to when her son's a grown man and treats her to brunch. It's awesome. Thank you.
No problem. It was a rare thing, too, because a lot of people know, Mitch Valentine doesn't take ladies out to eat very much. So, very rare. But, no, it's great to be here with you, Mom. I want to talk about your music career because we've talked about a lot of things, over the years, but I've never really just gotten depth with you about your music career. One thing that just sticks out, this is a huge thing to me, and I know it was several years after you were performing, and I want to talk about how you started performing, but I want to start with the big thing that really sticks out to me, and that is you actually, and you have to tell me the year, you opened up at the Marysville amphitheater in front of, I'm going to say 15,000 people. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I think it was 1995, or maybe, it's been a long time, 94, 95. I don't know how many people there were there. It was a lot. We were opening for Billy Dean, and that day sticks in my mind because that was the day of the infamous OJ chase, the slow chase in the white Bronco. So while we were all, doing our sound check and all the other bands, we were all, milling around, we were also all huddled around each other's cars listening on the radio to the pursuit. But the main reason we were there, the person that put us there, that put the Wildcard band there, was a man called John Nicoletti, who used to own the Silver Dollar Saloon in Marysville, and we played there every month. And he was a big fan, and he supported us and gave us a lot of work. And that was probably the biggest gig that he, involved us in. And it was great. I was thrilled.
Now, how many people you think were there? I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. I believe I was probably with the babysitter.
No, you and Dave were there. Dave Bourdon.
Dave Bourdon, the owner of DB's Grub Steak, the famous DB's Grub Steak in Old Magalia. Yeah, so I was there.
Yeah, you were there.
Okay, and I was about 5, 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
And how many other people were there? What was the crowd?
I don't know, but I know that that was right when they were first building that amphitheater, that venue. And I remember looking out, and it was a grassy area when we started, and there was just nothing but people as far as the eye could see. So, I don't know. It was a lot. It was a lot of people, thousands of people. But it was scary.
I bet. I've actually been there. The only real live professional concert I've ever been to in my life was to see Disturbed and Avenged Sevenfold at the Marysville Amphitheater, and we were up on the grass. There was 15,000 people there, so that's what can only imagine, 10 to 15,000 people, which is incredible because as many performers, independent performers that I know, that I've met over the years, nobody has that feat, Mom. To be able to say they've performed in front of 10 to 15,000 people, that's incredible. So I want you to know, I really admire you seriously for pulling that off, if nothing else. And what you do now, and I want to definitely get into what you're doing now. But before we talk about now, let's talk about what made you want to be a singer, and when did you first realize that you were going to pursue singing?
Well, I never wasn't a singer. My earliest memories of being 3 years old or so, I was singing, and I was singing in a British accent, and I was singing jazz, and I was singing songs that I would make up in my head, and I just it chose me. I really didn't choose it. I fought it for a long time because, we all know that, no, but, that's a worthless pursuit. Go get a real job, blah, blah, blah. But, and I did. I tried that. And I was able to juggle both for many years because I wanted to have enough money to raise you. But I didn't want to be bitter, so I wanted to pursue my dreams too, because I wanted to teach you that is the most important thing, is to follow your own heart.
If I can touch on that for a second, you definitely did, Mom, because it was, growing up, I obviously didn't appreciate it as much as I appreciate what you actually accomplished now, looking back. You would work a 40-hour-a-week job, either a bartender, waitress, whatever job, and then on the weekends, you'd have 1, 2, 3 gigs, depending, and you would go out and do that, and then, of course, still provide everything for me, have breakfast for me, lunch and dinner, and everything I needed, and it's incredible. I have, honestly, Mom, I've never met anybody that has done what I grew up watching you do. Never met anybody like that.
Well, that's because they were probably too busy working.
So when was the first band, would you say, how old were you when you got in, the first band, when you first were a lead singer? And I know you play guitar as well. So when was the first time you really got involved and started performing live in front of a crowd?
Well, the first time I performed on a professional, getting paid, in other words, was here in Paradise. It's a building, it used to be called The Rose. It's where the town of Paradise is now housed, the buildings there on Lower Skyway. I was about 16, and there was a dinner house, and I went in there and would play my guitar and sing.
How much did they pay you?
I think $25 or something. But this was, you got to remember, in 1978, that wasn't too bad of money.
That's not bad at all. For a 16-year-old to just be able to do what they love and get paid for it, man, that's incredible. I wish I could have done something like that.
Well, they didn't ask me back.
Oh, you only did it one time?
Once, but I was very young and inexperienced. For years I was convinced that I had invented the G chord. So I was not a very good guitar player. My real true first band, where I was really actively involved in all aspects, the material, the arrangement, the name, everything, the concept, and the lead vocals, was when I was about 18. I was living in Sausalito, and there was a place called Gate 5. It's down on the waterfront. There's a bunch of houseboats now. It's a very ritzy area, but it used to be an artist community. in the early 80s, 70s, 80s. And I was rehearsing with some high school friends, and this other established band called Steel Wind had heard me, and they came and offered me a job singing with them. And so, I worked with them for about 6 months in San Francisco. But I was, again, very young and inexperienced, didn't really know what I was doing. But that was really my first real band.
Gotcha. Now, the first band I remember, growing up was you and Bill Teague in Wildcard.
Yeah.
Can you just let the folks listening, can you let us know, like, how did that start? Well, just let me know, because I want to know. And I know people listening, Wildcard, tell us about Wildcard, because that's what I remember. I still have your business card for Wildcard, your Wild business card. And so how did Wildcard come about with you and Bill Teague?
Well, when we were living in Chico in like 1989, I was working at a little place called McHenry's. It's now called Russell's. In any case, there was a place where Tortilla Flats is now. It's called the Jolly Fox. It was a country bar. On Sunday nights, they had an open jam. And I was very interested in, hooking up with other musicians and maybe getting a band together. So I went down there on a Sunday night, and that's where I met Bill Teague and several other great players, Mark Alstad and Bojo, and just a bunch of great gifted players. And Bill and I kind of had a little romantic spark as well as a musical simpatico. But I think at that time, right around that time, I got hired by another band called Barefoot.
Now, this was 1991?
1989.
Okay.
1989, 1990. And Bill was in a band, and I think Bill's band broke up. They lost their singer, and I was not happy where I was with Barefoot. And so he hired me to be the lead singer for his band. And then we lost the drummer. That band was called High Stakes. And we lost our drummer, Mark. And then we decided to just revamp the whole thing. We hired a new rhythm section, and I thought the name Wildcard, because it was a wild card. We didn't know, and so that's how we came about. And, we worked very regularly all over the North State for about 6 years or so. We got nominated for one of those Chico Annies. We didn't win, but at least we got nominated.
Yeah, and Larry Taylor was also your drummer back then, right?
Yeah, we had a lot of really good players come through the band. We had, again, Bojo, Mark Alstad. We had my very favorite drummer, Norman Smeltzer. We had a bass player, a man named Jano Farrell. We had Steve Parsons. We had a lot of great players come through there.
So basically 1990 through 96, you guys were performing very regularly. Now, back then in the 90s, because I was just a kid, I was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. 7, 8, 9, 10 in 80, in 92. I'm horrible at math. You know this.
Yeah.
We're both horrible at math.
Yeah.
But basically, I was under 10 years old while all this was going on. So back then in the 90s, what was it like as far as promoting your band, letting people know that you had a show, and what type of bars or establishments or venues did you guys play? I mean, I'm sure there was a lot, but which ones bring back the best memories?
Well, there wasn't Facebook, there wasn't cell phones, there wasn't really email was in its infancy. So really word of mouth was the only way. We played several truck stops. One of my favorite places to play was called Terry's in Gridley. And, I'm sorry, not Terry's, B&B Crossroads in Gridley. So the other way people would advertise in the truck stops is on the CB. They'd say, so-and-so's playing, and everybody would come.
The CB, can you explain that for... I don't know what that is.
Oh, a CB radio, a Citizens Band Radio. It's what truckers use when they're on the road before cell phones and all that. It's kind of based on what cops used to use as well. There's a Citizens Band. It's like a radio that you can talk and listen.
And they go by code names and stuff, right?
They go by code names, and there's different little code words. It's, it's a whole culture. I don't know if they still use them now that we have cell phones, but it was a great way for truckers to keep in touch with each other and to warn each other and to get help and to just, kind of stay connected on those long hours, on the road. So that was one way, but really it was word of mouth, and we played every weekend and then some for, 6 years. I mean,
Now, what I remember is being about maybe 2 or 3, 4 years old, and I think this is the first time I ever actually performed in front of a live actual crowd, and I sang the Aladdin song, Riff Raff, Street Rat. Where was that?
that was at a place called the Blue Gum out in Willows, actually out in what they call Artois, just east of I-5, west of Chico. Yeah, you were about 5, actually. And Grandma sewed an outfit that looked fabulous because she was such a talented seamstress. And I got to tell you, it was the most horrible experience of my life for you singing that song because I was just so terrified for you. I had more stage fright for you than I ever had for myself, and I was already mad at everybody just in case they didn't applaud when you were done.
How did I do?
You did amazing. People loved it. You were adorable, and I was crying. I could barely. It was ridiculous. I was a very proud mom.
Now, I want to know how that even came about. I'm sure I was probably begging you to let me do that or something, but because nowadays I couldn't imagine a 4 or 5-year-old kid getting on stage at a bar or a live music venue. 21 and older. I'm guessing. Was it a bar?
No, it was the Blue Gum was a steakhouse and bar. Okay. So yeah, you were allowed. Grandma brought you out. And I don't remember how it came about either. I'm pretty sure you must have suggested it, but however it happened, I was happy. I was thrilled until I realized how scared I was going to be for you.
Aladdin to this day still is my favorite Disney movie of all time. I love that movie, and I love that song. And so that was cool. I think that was probably the first time I ever performed in front of people, and that was just a real. I don't remember a lot about being that young, but I definitely remember that. And I wish the video's out there somewhere. Grandma probably has it in her storage closet.
Grandma probably has it, but she's probably taped the Oprah show over it.
Yep. So okay. So. The Wildcard thing was big till about 96, and then what we did, I believe, we moved to Belden.
Yep.
And you still pursued music in Belden, is that right?
Well, I mean, I didn't really do much of anything. I would, take my acoustic guitar and a little amp, and I would sing some goofy songs, and I would play, CDs and stuff. But I didn't have a band or anything. I still would write and play, but not anything professionally.
So the Spice Girls thing. Well, what would you call that? Please describe us the Spice Girls incident of 1990. What was it? 8?
Yeah. Well, that was, as you well know, Jay, the most fabulous human being I've ever met on the planet, and you probably too.
Jay was the owner of Tobin, and just an outstanding guy to everybody that met him.
He always used to say his name was J. Gorgeous Mills. His initials were J.G. Mills, but he always told everybody the G standard for gorgeous. And it stood for gorgeous. Anyway, so Jay's birthday is July 31st. And a bunch of us girls had decided that what he needed really was a floor show on his birthday. It was a very busy weekend in Belden town. I had dinner for 20 on my deck that very day. And in the middle of my dinner party, I had to say, excuse me, change into a floozy dress to go down to Belden to do this floor show for Jay. And what it consisted of was about 4 or 5 of us girls that worked at Belden and lived in the canyon, and we had each chosen a Spice Girl's name.
Please tell us the Spice Girls name. And also just want to say, you were a bartender, waitress, and now performing live music for the town of Belden and a resident.
Well, yeah, I think we were living in Little Haven by then, but yeah, I wouldn't really call it a performance. It was more of a annoyance, really, for new. But it was fun.
What were the Spice Girls' names you guys had picked out?
Well, you gave me my name. I was Embarrassing Spice. And we had Dorothy. She was the owner of Belden, Dorothy Wilson. She was Flapper Spice. And then we had my good friend Carrie Pla, and she was Vato Spice. She's Hispanic. And then we had a very sweet lady who's no longer with us. Lefty is her name, and we called her Old Spice.
I love Old Spice. Old Spice was the best, I thought.
And so what we did basically is we all got dressed in these ridiculous outfits. We had to deal with the bartender. At the appointed time, Jay would get sat in his fabulous king chair, and we all filed into the bar, which was full of people having a great time already. the music blasting and us lip syncing the Spice Girls song, Tell Me What You Want, What You Really, Really Want. I'm sure there's some video out there. God, I hope I never see it or it never surfaces. Jay loved it. We loved it. It was fun. It was just typical of Belden at that time.
Yeah, and then we would move to Quincy, California, and Quincy is real special for me. Because I met one of my best friends back then. It was like 99, 2000. A guy named Darnell, and he got me into wrestling, of course.
Thanks, Darnell.
Basketball and rap music, and I fell in love with professional wrestling, and I don't believe you were performing any live music at this time. So you saw your son, who I was a little bit of a troublemaker, to put it lightly. I mean, always getting into kind of problems at school, and it just my attitude and everything. And it wasn't your fault. It was just the way I was, and there's nothing we can do, and everything happened the way it happened. But what was going on during that time for me, the most important thing for me, besides my family, of course, was wrestling, WWF at the time. I loved it more than anything, and I would tell everybody that I was going to do it. I was going to do it, and of course, it wasn't the ideal profession for any mom to have their child go into, right?
Yeah, didn't I used to say stuff like, well, I tried to raise him right. I hope he was going to be a politician or a drug dealer, but no, in spite of my best efforts, he wants to be a professional wrestler.
So I would eventually, by 2006, I would actually, after years of weightlifting and any kind of sport that I wouldn't get kicked off the team for, I was pursuing the athletics, and I was pursuing the dream of professional wrestling. Now, here's the thing about pro wrestling. It's entertainment. It's very much being an entertainer in front of a crowd, and manipulating the crowd, making them cheer, boo, be happy, be sad. So I'm focusing on entertainment. How did that make you feel to know that you spent from 16 years old, you wanted to be a singer and entertainer, and now you're watching your son doing something completely different, but still it is in the entertainment business. What were you thinking? Honestly, don't hold back here. What was going through your mind as you saw me transition into training and years and years and years of learning what I learned, and not only how to train and wrestle, but how to promote a wrestling show and do all these things in wrestling on the independent level in Northern California? But I mean, what was going through your mind, honestly, when you watched me go through that 10-year journey?
Well, naturally, first of all, as a mother, I was terrified that you were going to get injured because, it's a dangerous sport, and, it doesn't seem 6 months goes by and you don't hear of a professional wrestler that's been seriously injured in the ring or died of steroid abuse or, the list goes on, depression, all of these things. So I was not real thrilled with the whole idea, to be honest, and I had hoped that you would grow out of it. But I also didn't want to discourage you. I wanted to support whatever it is you wanted, whether I liked it or not. But I gotta say I wasn't happy about it. But I was also not surprised at your success in particularly the marketing area. When you were a little baby, I will never forget holding you one day and just looking deep into your eyes and just really feeling a connection and the power of who you are. This powerful spirit that has the ability to manifest whatever he wants. And that's what you've proven to be. Once you decide something, you manifest it. And I'm proud of that, very proud of that.
Well, thanks, Mom. I'm, definitely proud of you as well. And so I just got to ask you one more question about the wrestling stuff.
Sure.
Because I wanted you to sing the national anthem, and I asked you several times, and I wish that could have happened, and it could still maybe happen down the line. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I'm the one that would be able to sing the national anthem with the kind of passion that one might need. But no, I'll sing it for you if I have an open date.
And if I decide to
return,
or when I decide to return, actually. And then one more wrestling question. You went to, I would say, over the years? Because I know you would get so mad when you'd see me get slammed around, and it would legitimately upset you. But I know you still went to 5, 6, 7, 8 shows over the years. What was your most memorable moment, whether it was with me or with another PCW wrestler? What was the most memorable thing you witnessed at a PCW show, which was probably either at the Municipal Auditorium in Oroville or at the Off the Wall Soccer Arena in Chico?
Well, first of all, I'm a mom and I just get so mad. But then, of course, I would realize that was exactly the fun of the wrestling shows. And they are entertaining. And you are particularly entertaining. And, I was very proud of you at every show when you come out. You just are so funny. And you have such a gift for movement. In other words, the way you walk, the way you dance, you're an excellent dancer. It's funny. You get that from your grandpa. So there's not one particular moment that stands out. There's flashes of many. But there is one time in Oroville when I brought Zack Reeb, my best friend's son, and I know that Mitch Valentine did never shake anybody's hand or wasn't really nice to anybody, but it was Zack and I think your other little buddy, and you kind of walked by all tough, and then you just kind of on the sly slapped their 2 little hands, and I remember that moment thinking how cool that was and how special it made those little boys feel.
Well, they're like my nephews. I know you're talking about Jonathan, which is the nephew. Now, I have no brothers and sisters, but somehow I've got all these nephews and a couple nieces. I don't know how that happened, but no, that was cool. It's hard, it's hard being a villainous character and having these kids that are family and friends, and I'm supposed to be a jerk to them, but sometimes I just had to let it slide, and I definitely what I thought was really cool. And then we'll wrap up here and talk about some House Cat stuff. But what I remember was really cool was September 19th, 2015 was the night I won the PCW Heavyweight Wrestling title, which over my trainer Zach, which meant everything to me. And you weren't in the building, but you were actually in Oroville performing your music through a connection that I had made for you. That's right. That made me feel so good that, well, you weren't there. I couldn't give you a hug after I won the title, but I knew you were doing what you loved at that very moment because of your skill and what you can do, but also because it was kind of like just a mutual connection. It was a mutual friend that we just kind of worked it out, and that meant a lot to me that we were both able to perform in the same town at damn near the same time,
less than a mile apart.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
That was fun.
So the House Cats, you and Bill Teague, you're back musically. You're doing you guys came back together and started rehearsing back together. What was it, like late 2014?
Yeah, it was like December of 2014. Yeah, right around there. And we both, he wanted to work on his. First of all, Bill Teague is a multi-talented, multi-instrumentalist, and a great singer. And but what he wanted to work on was his piano playing, which fit in really well with what I was been thinking about doing, which is the Great American Songbook with piano and vocals and some of the standards and some little boogie woogie here and a little blues there. And but that worked great. We were rehearsing for 2 or 3 months, and we participated in the Chico Breaks the Record. And then one day, he showed up at a rehearsal with this drum machine. And I said, "You've got to be kidding. There's no way I'm using a drum machine. That's for dorks." And he said, "Well, let me just show you this." And we played a song, and that was it. I was hooked. And he just looked at me because he didn't think that I would like it. So now he had brought it over, and now he was stuck with it, and it brought a whole new aspect to what we were doing. In that, instead of him playing a traditional piano, he now was a keyboardist. He would split the keyboard, bass on his left hand, melody on the right, and poking at the drum machine every now and again. So it made his job infinitely more difficult, and it ironically made my job infinitely as a singer easier. But it's worked out really well, and we've been really pretty successful in a small pond.
Yeah, you guys, I remember I believe your first gig back together was at one of the Paradise nursing homes, and then you still do that. You performed at Chico Breaks the Record at the Tackle Box, and then now what you guys have been doing I mean, you've been at the Italian Garden every Wednesday night, 6 to 9 p.m. You've been doing that for, 6 months now?
8 months.
Eight months at the Italian Garden, and now every Saturday night, again, 6 to 9.
6:30 to 10:30. It's a 4-hour show at the Smoky Mountain Steakhouse.
4-hour show. That's got to be difficult. So every Wednesday night at the Italian Garden, every Saturday night at the Smoky Mountain Steakhouse. If people show up, what kind of music can they expect to hear?
Well, the Italian Garden is a 3-hour show at 6:30 to 9:30 for the summer. We've started a little later. And we just, like I said, we stick to the Great American Songbook, some Latin, a little bit of jazz. They can expect to hear some just really beautiful music, a lot of sparsely arranged with, what I hope are very heartfelt vocals. And, until 9:30, that's how the Italian Garden works. I also encourage everybody to wear as sparkly as they would like. I always like to wear, a full-length sparkly dress or something that kind of helps transport people back to that time where you would go see a dinner show and you would have white tablecloths and...
Yeah, because I've been to the Italian Garden show several times. I mean, it's nice. Yeah, you can have a steak dinner, pasta dinner, drinks at the bar. You can bring your kids, and it's beautiful. The lighting's amazing. I mean, it's a really, really beautiful thing. Everybody that I know that has gone has absolutely loved it and has gone back. So now, Smoky Mountain Steakhouse every Saturday. How does that differ from the Italian Garden?
Right. Well, the Smoky Mountain Steakhouse was a real challenge because we did not at any time foresee Bill and I doing as a duet 4 hours. But when Pam, the owner, approached me about it, I thought, well, why not? So we'll break the show into 2 parts. From 6:30 to 8:30, we do nice mellow dinner music, still danceable, but it's not going to, blow your cowboy hat off. And then I change into something a little more casual, and we do a lot more upbeat material, things you can dance to, things you can sing along with and dance to. And that's, the main point. Also, I like to talk to the audience. I don't believe in this wall between the performer and the audience. I mean, to me, I feel like all of my shows are kind of like I would conduct myself at a house party that was at my house, except I'm also the singer. It's a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more raucous of a show.
You're incredibly personable, Mom. I mean, it's amazing to see. You're a stand-up comic is what you are, too, a lot of the times with some of the material that you have and making people laugh. And anything that I have as far as being personable or good with people or being entertaining I get it from you. It's very obvious. So I have to go. I haven't been to a Smoky Mountain Steakhouse show yet. I want to go. Last night, it sounds like it was a fantastic show. And you'll be, again, out there next Saturday. Anything else in the works down for the future? Anything you have your eye on as far as a venue, or you want to just kind of keep that under wraps for now?
I don't really have. I have my, I'd like to play at the casinos, I think, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm pretty happy doing what we're doing. I'd like to, go out and go to some of these assisted living communities, a few more of those. I really enjoy that work. It's always been important to me to give back and to serve people that are underserved and those that are in rest homes and in assisted living, kind of shut away from the world. I just like to bring them the music that they love, and I like to get all gussied up so that they understand how important they still are, even though they're a little disconnected. And that is the most rewarding thing that we do. And Bill, in the beginning, he was not as enthusiastic, but now he really enjoys doing those kinds of gigs, and really that's the most fun that I have.
And that's really special, and that is something that more musicians probably should have that attitude to just
Well, we in this community, I have to say, Chico Paradise, the musicians are so generous. You hear of it all the time. donating time to raise money for the Jesus Center, and for the Chico Women's Club does a lot of benefits. So it must be something in the water here in the North State, because the musical community is very generous with their time. And, quite frankly, I'm not in a position that I can draw enough people to make a fundraiser profitable. But in the way, going to the rest homes and the assisted living, that's in this way I can give back. Until such a time that I can. The House Cats can draw enough people to raise money for a worthy cause. But in the meantime, that shouldn't stop me from serving.
Yeah, definitely a very special, very great musical scene here in Chico Paradise. I mean, it is great. And we're north of a half hour here. I didn't expect this to go this long. I definitely want to have you on, Mitch, please, down the line. Maybe we get Bill Teague on here as well. We could talk more about the House Cats. I think what you guys are doing is amazing. And I don't just say that as your son and someone that's watched you perform for 20 plus years, but probably before I was born, I was watching you perform. But I love the music that you guys do. And you put so much into it, and you can feel your passion and your love for what you guys both do. And where can people find more out about the House Cats? I know you guys are on Facebook.
Yeah, you can find us on Facebook at the House Cats. We also have a page specific to the Italian Garden, which is the House Cats Swing the Garden Facebook page. And you can come see us on Wednesday nights from 6:30 to 9 at the Italian Garden on Skyway in Paradise. Or you can go up the street about a block and a half to Smokey Mountain on Saturday night from 6:30 to 10:30. Both places have great food. Smokey Mountain on Saturday night has a steak and wine special. It's usually 2 fabulous steaks and a premium bottle of wine for under $50 for both. So yeah, those are the places you can see us.
All right. Well, Robyn Valentine representing the House Cats, my beautiful mom. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Mom, and I love you very much.
I love you too, son. Don't worry, I won't tell him your nickname.
Bam! So there you have it. Robyn Valentine of the House Cats, my beautiful mother. Thank you, Mom. Thank you for not telling the whole world my nickname. That's going to have to remain a mystery. And yeah, guys, the House Cats are what's going on. They are what's happening in Paradise, no doubt. Every Wednesday at the Italian Garden and every Saturday at Smokey Mountain Steakhouse. I say that 5 times fast. And check them out, guys. Check them out on Facebook, the House Cats. Follow them, like them. Go to a show. Check it out because it's free. First of all, it doesn't cost you anything. Go in there, you can watch them perform live. And grab a drink, grab some food, bring your significant other, bring your friend, bring your grandma, bring your niece, bring your nephew. I mean, it's a great time. You can feel the passion, you can feel the energy, and their music hits home to anybody. I don't care how old you are. So check them out. And I hope to have Bill Teague and Robyn Valentine, the House Cats, back on Mitch Please down the line. I want to keep you guys updated with what they're doing. And stay up on what I'm doing, guys. Mitch Please on Facebook. Thank you to everyone that's liking that, sharing that, inviting their friends. And of course for subscribing to youtube.com/TheMitchValentine. Much appreciation. If you're listening on SoundCloud, hey, up in the clouds. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Guys, get at me anytime you want, especially on Twitter. Hit me up. Tweet me at HeartbreakerMV. Let's get Mitch Please trending. Hashtag that bad boy. Let's get that thing trending. There's a hashtag. You're looking at it right now if you're on youtube.com/TheMitchValentine. Whew. It's tiring getting all these plugs in, but we're doing it. Guys, this has been another successful episode 2. Very proud of this one. And again, I'm going to be doing this show to the best of my ability for all of you that are listening. So thank you guys for listening. And thank you very much for supporting this dream. All right. Now we're going to kick it over to the House Cats to take us out. We will see you next time on Mitch Please.
Well, I think I'm going out of my head. Yes, I think I'm going out of my head. Over you. Over you. exist. And I think I'm going out of my head, 'cause I can't explain the tears that I shed over you. Over you. I want you to want me. I need you so badly, I can't think of anything but you. Going out of my head, over you. Out of my head, over you. Out of my head, day and night, night and day and night. All alright, I must think of a way into your heart. There's no reason why my being shy should keep us apart. And I think I'm going out of my head. Yes, I feel